Hello, everyone. My name is Ty, and this is my co host, Crystal, and this is the Pedal Dance Podcast. Today, we will be discussing Pokemon Masters. Crystal, would you have anything to add?
Well, in addition to Pokemon Masters, we'll talk about the Pokemon posted news, which really isn't much, and the posted leak, which I know that's a little ironic, but it'll make sense. Most people who are insanely into Pokemon probably know what I'm already referring to, hopefully. If not, we'll get into that later. But yeah, we'll first talk about Pokemon Masters. It has been out for, what, about 2 weeks now?
Yeah, give or take, probably closer to three. I lost count. The days go by for me.
So, to talk about Pokemon Masters, I guess we should give a description of what it is. It's a free app that you can download for your phone if it's compatible. It's it has similar themes in other Pokemon games, but also a unique concept. You start off as a unique trainer with a design that has not been implemented in any Pokemon game yet, although there's not much variation between them and what you can do with character customization. And your starter Pokemon will always be a Pikachu with that character. And then you befriend Brock and Misty with Onyx and Starmie, but without going into the game details, you essentially engage in 3-on-3, well, mostly 3-on-3 Pokemon battles. Each trainer has one Pokemon. A lot of Pokemon have really great offensive moves, some supportive moves, some healing moves, status moves. It works very differently. When you use offensive moves, it takes away from the gauge bar and it has to regain in order to launch another attack. Which, my memory, it sucks. I don't think we've experienced a Pokemon game like that before. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that one, Ty, but
This one does take a lot of patience, I'll give you that.
I think that's just the gist of it. Your goal, well, I guess the general goal is to get as many gems as possible because Pokemon is money is power. That's the thing. With gems, you get more acquaintances to join your team. You can get more items to make you stronger, so on and so forth. And your goal is just, I believe, to become the champion of the PML League. I forget.
Pokemon Masters League.
Oh, yeah, that. I forgot what it stood for after all this time. And you meet your rivals along the way. And there's also a bad guy team in it. Is it like Team Mask or something?
Oh yeah. Team Mask. That one's man. I hadn't encountered those guys in a while, but you're absolutely right. They have a team of bad guys in this game, and you periodically encounter them every so often. And the thing about them is that they appear to be just like every other NPC that you normally face, only they have a mask on their face. And some of them, so some of the ones that I've encountered anyway, uh, they won't have the mask on their face, but then they'll quickly put it on. It's like, okay, what's the point in that? I done saw your face, and now you're gonna mask it. I don't get that. But regardless, that's the concept of the game, and it's been implemented into it. And I've yet to figure out what they're up to because I am stuck at price. So
And I admittedly am a little bit further than Ty in the app. Actually, I'm pulling it up right now. Let me see how far I am.
I've
Um,
been a busy beaver.
I've been uh, training a lot because I've been stuck. Hold on, still bringing it up. Thank you for your patience. Main story. Oh, I guess I'm not stuck because a new chapter just unlocked. Chapter 16. battle with Koga and his daughter. So, I've been
Yeah,
training
that's further
for
than
not.
I am. Because I think, shoot, I think Price is what, chapter 7?
Yeah, something like that. So about
10
plus
chapters.
9 or so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, you got quite the jump on me.
yeah, but either way, I still don't know what Team Mask is up to without Googling it. I personally don't want to look up the spoilers just yet.
I know, right? I refrain from spoilers, and then you get those people that are probably checking Cerebi already, and they already know every detail about the game. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here with Brock and Karina in the 40s, and everybody else is below that. I,
but
I,
but yeah, I
I'm
know people who are way ahead of us, like probably have conquered as much in the game as possible.
the
These
people who paid.
these, these are the people that I both feel sorry for and envy a bit because it's like, dang, you have all this good stuff in your life, and dang, you don't have a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and in fairness, I'm starting to think, and I've always really thought this for that matter, whenever they first started doing the free to play games on, regardless of whatever console it is, um, I've always thought that the people at Cerebi are probably the same ones who are just putting dollar after dollar after dollar to unlock as much as they can so that they can post it up on their website.
It makes me wonder what kind of other jobs they have to get all those dollars. Like, are they
Yeah, like what kind of job is that
post
flexible
something?
where you just I'm thinking they get paid to run this website, and I want to figure out more about that because I want that job.
I don't think they would probably get paid too much to run Cerebi, just a little bit on the side. Like, I think there may be like Walmart CEOs or something just
Uh-huh.
quietly going about their day and no one
Oh
suspects them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The people who do this stuff at work, yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
But,
I get where you're coming from. So,
but
but
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
guess.
definitely think that there's multiple people running this website for sure.
But yeah, I guess our fantasies about those people aside. So let's talk about what we like, what we dislike about this app so far. Do you want to go over the positives or negatives first?
Let's see. Yeah, let's. I always like to do the bad news before the good news because my theory is worst for first, best for last.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
just talk about your negatives first, or me? I have no
So,
preference.
well, I do have grapples. I do have grapples. So my biggest pet peeve about this one is I was thinking that I would get 300 gems a day at least, so that I could at least go scouting every day. That is not the case. That already, I really and truly do hate that because there's just so many of these characters you can get, and then I find out you get repeats. That's a huge setback for me. It's like no, no, no. I need a steel type, and I need a fairy type, and I need this and this and this type, so I can do this and this and this in training. But I don't have any of those types, and I want to get those types, and I'm sitting here getting the same guy 5 times. No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah,
As a
I
matter of fact,
definitely agree with that one. Like, I had um, crap, what's his name? Bryson's show up literally
yeah,
3 times back to back. It's like, who invited you? I like really.
yeah, I think okay, I've had that happen with Whitney and Bugsy and Tate and Liza and Bryson as well, for that matter. He's a big one. So, and I'm just like, seriously, guys, come on, get with the program here. Like, please tell me I'm only going to get you 5 times, and then I can't get you no more, because I'm already at 3-5 for like shoot a handful of these, and I've got so many characters now that I'm scrolling, especially after getting 6,000 gems today. So, of course, I went ahead and spent those right away. that made it somewhat worth my while, all to say. But so it at least made up for itself. But that was still a pet peeve to realize that I couldn't go scouting every day. So and then let's see, my next pet peeve is that when you do get stuck, you have to train. Okay, so you train and you train, but you don't just go up one or two levels and then become a success. No, that's not how this works. You have to level up about like 10 more times before you can finally take this guy on. And it's like, are you serious? And then it had the cutoff gap of level 30, and you had to unlock that. Then the next gap is like 60, and so on and so forth. I think it may vary per trainer, but that's the standard that I've been seeing so far. And you have to get so many training items just to unlock the gap, the cutoff level. You have to train to unlock the cutoff level, and it's got some ridiculous listings of you need this, and this. Oh my gosh! And this also applies to the move sets as well. So.
But yeah,
Yeah.
can I just interject?
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah, the more stars the trainer has, the higher their levels can be. So their
Huh?
caps, even though they'll have the same requirements, like X amount of these energy drinks, their levels will be significantly higher than the other ones.
See, I was wondering about the stars. I thought
Stars
that.
are essentially meaning for potential, higher
Yeah,
potential.
I thought that meant that they were more powerful. So that's a lesson learned for me.
Oh, well, power's just in the eye of the beholder in a lot of ways. Like, I
Uh,
believe Roxanne is a 3-star one, and her nose pass are just the ultimate support powerhouse right there.
yeah.
But of course, I guess there's some subjectivity to that. But yeah, their stars essentially indicate their potential. And I guess part of it's also reflected in their ranking to like their status, like an Elite Four person, champion, gym leader, a random girl who we find in the woods that heals our Pokemon.
Yeah, that's always nice.
But you can continue. What do you have any other pet peeves?
Well, I was going to let you elaborate a little more on some of the topics I covered because I know I did the gap and I know I did the move sets and I know I know I mentioned all that, what have you. I was wondering if you hadn't because I was just beginning the move set. I was going to mention how there is four of those per person, and for each individual trainer, you'll need like the green things for this one, the red things for this one, the blue things for this one. And they have like the dumbest name. It's like what, grade 8 or something like that. I don't know. I just distinguish the difference by color, but I know to my colorblind audience that may be insensitive, but that's but because I can see color, that's how I do it.
Gosh, Ty, just fluff it all up. I can see color and you can't.
I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just that's just my perception on my own personal experience. I'm not trying to tell you that you need to know color to distinguish no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you are colorblind, you're going to want to have to pay attention to the names, but I am not the person you want to go to for the names because I do not pay attention to that.
Oh yeah, and of
So
course, just joking.
what?
And of course, that comment I made, I was just joking.
Yeah, hopefully we didn't upset too many people. I do have friends of mine who are like blue and purple and red and green colorblind, so I do know that that's out there. So anyway, so let's see. So that covers the move sets, what have you. Oh yeah, yeah. What did you think about the exchanging of items?
The
Because
exchange
there's a
of items, like X amount of drinks for one larger drink, 50 of those larger drinks for a more powerful larger drink.
Okay, here I go again with my colorness, but yeah. So, from my interpretation of it, there's a segment in the app where you can exchange the items you receive from training to upgrade them. Basically, if you have 10 of the bronze of the it's got like a bronze ring around it, and then it's the green bottle, bronze ring around it, red bottle, blue bottle, so on and so forth. And you can, if you get 10 of them, you can upgrade them to a silver one. And then when you get 50 of the silver ones, you can upgrade them to a gold one, regardless of whatever the color of the bottle is inside the rings. But you need like 3 gold rings and then so many silver and so many bronze or what have you to do the move sets and and gosh, what else was it again? I can't remember. Oh yeah, and the move sets and the gaps. You have to have so many of them to unlock those. And that's where the excessive amount of training comes into play. They're basically encouraging you to train the ever living best out of your Pokemon. And it's a very tedious process that requires a lot of patience. So if you're not the patient type, this might not be the game for you.
I'm not the patient type, and it's barely the game for me.
Yes, I do admit I do get frustrated with it from time to time, and sometimes I just need that break. But but yeah, it's been testing my patience as well. Uh, anyway, so I think that about covers most of it. Oh well. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh wait, no, we still got to go over the positives.
Well, aren't we just talking about the negatives first? And you talked about your negatives. I guess I'll talk about my negatives.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. All right, so we'll go to your negatives, and then we'll start covering the positives, and then if there's anything else we forgot to cover, we'll cover that.
Okay, so yeah, I know you talked about some of the negatives, like that I agree with, especially getting those repetitive trainers from this search. Like, I can understand getting some of them repetitively, but during the same search, like, I never search individually. I always do the times 10 just because I think it's a little bit better that way. And it's just so odd just to have these people run up to you and, like, Bryson back to back 3 times. Like, if you have to think about it from the game standpoint, did he just run into the Pokemon Center, run back out, and run back in again? Like, that's just.
Dude, you're getting KO'd. Stop getting KO'd.
It's
Yeah.
just frustrating.
Yeah.
And I know that the stars also represent how rare they are to come in, but dang it, Blue is a great trainer. I am entitled to Blue. Why
Yeah, if
has
I don't get it before the deadline, I'm gonna get pissed.
At this point, I'm still also hoping for Olivia. I've tried that thing 2 or 3 times in that 10-person search, and her rate's supposedly relatively fair compared to the rest, but apparently it's also still low, so I shouldn't be complaining, but.
Now that I'm because I already mentioned before we started this podcast that I do in fact have Olivia, but now I feel obligated to mention this other little detail. Once I realized that saving up to 3,000 wasn't getting me any type of discount, that I would still get 10 scouts regardless of having 3,000 gems, I decided to go ahead and continuously do the individual. And the one time I did the 10 times scout, that's when I got Olivia.
But yeah, that's just my personal preference. But yeah, going back to the negatives, Pikachu is your starter. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure Chris would agree with you on that if he was doing this podcast.
oh yeah, 100%. Um, so I like that you don't have to be your main character self in battle because it would admittedly suck. No offense to Pikachu.
No, I was so worried that would be an issue.
Oh yeah, I was worried about that too. Like it was not implied, it was not told about. You just kind of had to figure it out. And thankfully, I was actually imagining switching Pokemon with other trainers and you'd still be your awkward self. Like, all these trainers have these catchphrases and you're just silent. Like, it's just so awkward, but that's
Hey,
just
hey,
nitpick.
that can be a good thing because sometimes I think some of them talk too much.
Or their catchphrases are just obnoxious.
Yeah.
So far, um, you haven't encountered this one yet, but by far my least preferred one that I want my phone on silent for is Viola.
Which Pokemon does she have?
Surskit, but it's eligible to become Masquerain.
Okay, you're right. I don't have that one yet.
Oh yeah, she's extremely well. I don't know how far late in the game is, but compare with my progress, she's been late in the game, and like they gave her a French accent, which I can kind of understand since Kalos was modeled after France, but
Mhm.
they just make her overuse the word fantastique, and it's just really obnoxious. But that's just my
Yeah.
personal opinion. Something else. Well, I'm not
I
really
can't,
sure if it's. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I can't really diss the French accent too much because I was told I speak Spanish with an Italian accent, so not sure how that's a thing. Porque I just don't know.
Well, that's talent, I believe. But
No, I speak Latino Espanol with an Italian accent. That's South American Spanish with an Italian accent.
like I said, talent. But
Oh, talent. Okay, that's what you said. I don't know why I heard Italian.
oh, um, but I'm not sure. Like this next thing I'm going to talk about, it's not so much a nitpick with me, but it might be a nitpick with the fans who follow the franchise. Of course, we know Brock from the anime and how he is with women. Now, the Brock in this app, or I guess you can say relating to the Brock from the games, like he
Yeah.
is not like the anime Brock whatsoever. He is never girl crazy. He has a signature in which he takes his shirt off or it comes off his body and you see all those abs and it's nice to look at. And
Yeah,
um,
you can, but you can't touch.
and I guess this is my problem with Misty. Like they made her like more fan service towards guys this time around. Like when they made her in the anime, like yeah, of course that lack of clothing on her body was one thing, but they never made her overly like flirtatious or anything else like that. In this app, I don't think it, she
She
was
laughs so
too
much.
far, but they just ruined her character. Like she was a little flirty. She was too cutesy, girl next door, especially compared to a lot of the other females in the game, and I, I just hated that contrast. Personally.
Honestly, I also think it gets a little worse because every time you go to the Pokemon Center in the lobby, you'll see like a little scroll bar type of thing, and it's got like an exclamation point whenever somebody wants to talk to you. But then if they got something to give you, it's got a magnifying glass. So anytime you see the magnifying glass, it's like you wanna tap that person and get that thing. But if you have the exclamation points, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm thinking I should just ignore those because honestly, there was one time I did tap on Brock, and he did say something about women or what have you. So I don't think that one statement you made about him is entirely true, but it depends on what he's programmed to say, because he is an NPC at this point, just like every other additional character.
Well, just comparing him to the anime, though, like one
Oh
thing
yeah, uh,
is everything.
yeah, I got you.
But yeah, I have already ignored the explanation marks you're speaking about. Like it accomplishes nothing.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to realize myself. I think I'm just kind of in it for the dialogue. 'Cause it's like, oh, story mode. I should pay attention to this stuff. And now it's like, no, I don't care. I'm already wasting too much time on this game. I just want to be done with it.
Oh yeah, and then I'm not really sure if this is a negative. Like, I think it's a little weird, but you can get Brock as a character, and you can also get, I think it's called Signa Suit Brock.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like it's so weird. Like, you can have two Brocks in the same battle. Like, talk about multiple personalities, and there we go again, being offensive. But
Yeah, I looked into that once and I remember seeing that on the character list and I'm like, wait, what?
oh yeah, essentially, this new Brock puts the old Brock to shame. Like, his type. Well, stat wise, Onyx was better in all stats but attack, I think, and possibly HP as well.
Mhm.
But Tyranitar just had more versatility with its moves and usefulness.
Well, it's Tyranitar. What would you expect?
Well, I would expect more base stats in Onyx in every stat but speed, but I guess I think too much of the game, and I'm not really sure how I feel about what they have done with types in this game. They
Well, I still,
essentially. Oh, sorry.
yeah. I was gonna say I still do need a dark type, so Tyranitar is sounding really good to me right now.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think all types are involved. I
Hmm.
have to think about it. I guess they have dark type. I've seen Pokemon use
Yeah,
bite.
I've seen the logo on the training session, but I'm sitting there looking at that logo like, well, darn it, I don't have a dark type. I can't do this training session because I don't have a dark type. But then again, that may also be the wrong mentality to have because if it's an easier opponent, you might actually be able to take it anyway. So you can't always let the typings discourage you.
Oh yeah, not at all. Like, all Pokemon in this app are treated as a monotype, and none of them really have
Well,
any resist.
actually, that's not true. That's not true because I've unlocked a new move for Bryson, and Bryson's how do you say that Pokemon's name again? Cryogenical.
Cryogonal.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. All right. So that one's got an ice type move as its first move, and then when you unlock its secondary move set, it's a rock type. So it's got ice and rock, and it does show up as dual type. Same goes for I think it's Tate because Tate has the Soul Rock. Soul Rock has a psychic move, and it has a Stone Edge. I think a Stone Edge move. So yeah, I think it knows Zen Headbutt and like Stone Edge. I think those are its two moves that Tate has. So you're actually wrong. There's not a
I was
mono Tate there.
talking defensively. Sorry, I should have
Oh
specified.
yeah, yeah. Defensively, yeah, you're right. But offensively, that would be a wrong statement. So yeah, and specifications they get that way where they turn you into a liar. But yeah.
But yeah, defensively, all Pokemon are essentially treated as monotype unless there's something down the game towards the ending that we're missing out on. And they don't really have immunities anymore. Like, Pikachu's Thunder Shock Thunderbolt has allowed me to hit Pokemon that were ground type and do damage to them.
One thing I've loved is you have a few Pokemon that are able to do this type of thing, and even though we have yet to unlock Blue, they have an event where you can still play with Blue on your team. Your team is not allowed to be edited at any stretch of the imagination, but you get to play as Blue, and Blue's Pidgeot knows the move Air Cutter, and that move can hit all three of the targets. And same goes for Barry's Piplup. And yeah, his Piplup not only can it evolve into a Prinplup, spoiler alert, I know, but it knows the move Bubble, and it can also hit all three opponents at once.
Oh yeah, moves like that are so useful in this game, and
Oh,
also spoiler Empoleon. But yeah,
I didn't know. I hadn't got that far.
well, technically, I haven't evolved into Empoleon yet, just because the evolution stone is so expensive, and I already used it
Oh,
on
yeah.
Superior.
I'm actually saving up for that one because that's the one that's like what 50,000 coins.
it is for the top 1% of America. But
I
so
wish I could just keep getting the bronze one and like upgrade bronze to silver. That would be nice. But I get the feeling I'm gonna have to invest again in the bronze one just so I can evolve Totodile because I'm thinking Totodile evolves too.
oh yeah, like I think only select people can evolve their Pokemon. I've already evolved Rosa's into Superior. I'm
Mine's fine.
waiting to evolve Prinplup into Empoleon. I've evolved Prius' Seal into Dewgong.
Oh,
Waiting to
that'll be
evolve
nice.
Viola Surskit into Masquerain. Probably more too, but back on the negatives.
Yeah.
It,
Sorry.
oh no, no, we're fine. So I think it can, yeah, like you said, you need a lot of patience, and it's just pretty repetitive. Like same training battles,
Mhm.
almost same results. I am thankful they added that event in which Rock type Pokemon, their experience points will skyrocket. I don't know if you tried it. You get to face what's her name? Elite Four in the Unova region with the Chandelure. What's her name?
Chandelure. I think either I'm stuck on that part or I finally beat her. I can't remember. But yeah, I hadn't really played that one since it first came out. Darn it. I can't think of the name either.
Well, either way,
Not Agatha, is it?
Oh no, not at all.
Uh,
She's adorable, and her name is just gone in my memory. I could look it up, but I'm too lazy. But so like that was a great thing for Rock type Pokemon because like now I have Cygnus Suit Brock,
must
Rock
be nice.
Roxanne. Wait, what?
Yeah. But no, I was saying it must be nice because I don't have those yet.
But yeah, Cygnus Suit Brock, Roxanne, and dang it, well, Grant, yeah, that's his name. They're all like nearly their max level cap for me just because of them. They essentially go up 2+ levels almost every time.
Well, I just got Rorark and Olivia, and I'm looking to try out them with Brock or maybe even Bryson. And hopefully, I'm going to see what they can do on that rock type event thing since that's still available because I've got a lot of training to bust them into.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend getting your rock types in
Oh, yeah.
ASAP since that's
'Cause- yeah, because before that, I was actually using Tate and Bryson with Brock because they were my only rock types. But now I've gotten more rock types. And it's like this is going to get dangerous. Yes, I'm quoting Darkwing Duck. Anyway,
yeah, so negatives. I wish we also had a little bit more flexibility in, I guess you could say, the abilities that your Pokemon can pick up when you teach them the abilities. Have you taught any of your Pokemon abilities yet?
yeah, actually, I have. I know with Servine, she's got that move called Time to Energize, and I really love that one because it kind of speeds up the process. See, the thing about it is these attacks, they have these gauges. Some of them have a gauge of one, two, or three. And the more gauges they have, the longer you have to wait before you can use that move. But when you use an ability such as Time to Energize, it speeds up that process so you're not having to wait as long. And that is tremendously helpful. And then, of course, your starter actually has the ability of using potions, and that can come in handy as well. But you want to be careful not to get too reliant of them because not every partner you're going to use has potions. Same goes for full heals. That's really annoying, especially if you're facing an opponent that's constantly getting you by burning or poisoning you or using those status conditions to their advantage. Then that becomes a huge negative downside right there because you get so accustomed to using some of these abilities and then you can't fall back on them because you're forced to use other types. So that's also a conflicting interest view.
Well, sorry, I guess I should have called it by its official name, but yeah, those are definitely handy, but I was referring to the passive skills.
I, I thought that's what I just covered. I mean, because like time to energize and
Oh,
potions.
those aren't the passive skills. When
Those,
you uh, when you load when you go to the screens in which you can learn a new move for like time to energize, giga drain, thunderbolt, or whatever, there's
yeah.
another tab at the bottom that opens up a passive skill tab. Your Pokemon don't have these automatic, you just have to unlock them with the various items you get from training and whatnot. Like Pikachu's
Yeah.
passive skill is endurance. So with endurance, if Pikachu is full health and a
Is that
move,
the fourth move?
oh no, it's not a move at all. It's
It
literally
does. It's
functions
not
like
one
a
of the four moves.
it's literally like a Pokemon ability like in the game, kind of like Blaze, speed boost.
Okay, it's one of those. Yeah, I hadn't really seen too much in how that can take effect. But then again, you may have gotten farther in the game than I have. I know with the overall gameplay, it tends to be pretty fast paced the way I play it because I don't have time to sit there and wait for them to do all their things. I'm sitting there trying to just die, 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 with my phone and just, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but as long as you have the tools and materials from training, you can unlock these passive skills at any given time as long as you have those available. But yeah, my nitpick with this is the lack of flexibility in it. Like Pikachu's is endurance. Oh, if Pikachu takes a move that can feign it in one hit, it just survives with 1 HP left. But if you compare it to other Pokemon, oh yeah, and Misty Starmie is also like, well, it can kind of sometimes heal your other Pokemon status condition, sometimes. And then you have other Pokemon out there. I'm bringing up this app. There are so many Pokemon with such great passive skills, and it just puts Pikachu's and Starmie's to shame. So hold on, I'm finding really, really great examples.
Well, I was gonna say, Bryson has a move called Stone Cold Endurance, and that's what the when you were describing Pikachu's ability, that's what came to my mind right there was the fact that Bryson and his Pokemon technically already have the ability to do that, provided you can tap it in time. But you can only use those types of things twice per battle, and that can also be annoying. However, there may be some confusion there because I know most people think they can use that twice during a battle, but if you're doing the story mode, uh, you encounter one set of trainers, you beat them, and then you encounter another set of trainers in that same part of the story mode. Newsflash, your Pokemon's going to have the same amount of HP and the same amount of moves used from the last battle, if that's the case. So that's the exception to the rule.
oh yeah, so I found an example. Grant in his Amora, if that's how you pronounce it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That sounds good to me.
Okay, so most Pokemon I've noticed only have one passive skill. With Grant and Amora, you can actually unlock three passive skills, and I really don't find Snow Shelter and Sand Shelter too useful, but it has Aggravation 1 as a passive skill. It raises the chances of inflicting the flinching, confused, or trapped conditions with the additional effects of moves. Like, that is so useful, especially since it has access to Rock Slide, which causes
Yeah.
flinching. Like,
That does sound nice. Oh my gosh, could you imagine using Rock Slide? It's like, ah, yes, you can't move. I just bought myself some time.
oh, Rock Slide's one of the more useful moves, like you were talking about. It hits all three of them, and it can cause flinching. So that
That's
is
awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wish we had more flexibility in which Pokemon can have which passive skill. Like Starmie, I don't care about your sometimes going to heal my partner with their poison sometimes. Like I could just
Like, I
use,
don't need sometimes, I need all the time, you useless starfish.
or I can just use berries. Pokemon has full heal. Like that's
Yeah,
reliable. But
yeah.
but yeah, that's a huge thing for me about the flexibility and passive skills. I don't think I have any more major rants about this. So major positives, praises. It's still an enjoyable app, still enjoyable game, great concept, graphics are great.
Well, another thing I would like to compliment as well is I'm a little glad that regardless of uh, regardless of your choice to do times 10 or individually, I am super glad that um, there is no benefit to waiting on the scouting because scouting is literally one of my favorite parts of the game. So regardless if you wait or not, you are still going to get 10 scouts for your 3,000 gems, but you don't have to wait. You can do 300 gems a day and you get one person for those 300 gems. So it's not worth doing the 3,000 thing unless you just want to. Sure, it might seem like a good idea, but if you just want to hurry up and get it out of the way like I do, it could really brighten your day to get the character you've been dying to get, to just kind of expedite things, especially in the case of these events that they've been doing for both Blue and Olivia.
Oh
So
yeah, and
I
just
do want to praise that. So
oh, agreed. And just a random question. When you first did the scouting thing as instructed, who did you get for the very first scout?
that's a good question. I think
I
one
was
of the
just
first ones I got, I think it was Lieutenant Surge.
okay, I was just curious whether or not we would all be locked into the same first one automatically scouted or not. Because my first one ever was Whitney.
Yeah, I remember getting Lieutenant Surge, and I told somebody else that I got Lieutenant Surge, and they're just like, "Oh, you're so lucky! I wanted that one." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, his because they have these stories every time you scout them. There's a story where you can get 10 more gems." Um, and I was telling him, I was telling them rather that that his story was very very funny. So if you get Lieutenant Surge and you actually pay attention to his little story, prepare yourself to laugh
Oh
because
yeah, that's another.
his Pokemon is a Voltorb. That should already clue you in where this is going.
But yeah, that's another huge positive. I love how they implemented the stories. You get to learn more about these favorite characters and a little
Oh,
bit of background, personality. Like they were just great.
but yeah, I do have Whitney too as well. I wanted to say that as well. It's about time that Miltank became your ally and not your enemy.
Although you remember how you evolved your Snivy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a one-on-one battle, Snivy against Zoroark, against Bryson Zoroark. So apparently, Chris's evolution from Totodile to Crocodile is a one-on-one battle with Whitney and her milk tank. So she won't be your friend too long.
I see the irony. But yeah, you confirmed it. I knew Totodile evolved.
uh, yeah, I'm still anxiously waiting for that one, but
Yeah. Oh, and in case y'all are wondering, because yeah, granted, yeah, these are spoilers. If you're wondering how to evolve your Pokemon, so here's how it works. You get your Pokemon to the first level gap of level 30, and you unlock a story mode for that trainer. And that's when you initiate this battle. And once you win it, your Pokemon evolves. And I'm pretty sure that when you get to the gap of 45, that's when it probably goes into its second evolution, I'm guessing. But you have to get it to level 30 first before you can evolve your Pokemon. And that's if they have the evolving capabilities. I've yet to find out which I'll do. If you want to go ahead and spoil it for yourself, other than the ones we've already listed here in this podcast, you can confirm that with sarahb.net.
Although supposedly there's not too many more that we haven't mentioned, supposedly, but
Yeah, that's better.
so one thing that I want to say is a positive and a negative. Like the positive is there's so many characters. Like you get to
Yeah.
learn so many backgrounds, so many one-on-one stories, have a lot of allies, and it just makes the game really exciting. My negative with that is my favorite person who I was hoping would be in this game. They're not in it. So
Who is that?
shame on Pokemon.
Ah.
Um, any random guesses just to see if you're psychic at heart or mine?
Okay, well, let's see here. If I had to guess who it was. Oh my gosh, there are so many characters. Why did I ever think this was a good idea? Um, I'm a little disappointed Team Rocket isn't a character.
You know what? Now that I think about it, that is pretty disappointing. Or at least individual characters from Team Rocket.
I know, like, there's no Jesse, there's no James, and I'm really sure Meowth wouldn't be by himself.
Oh yeah, a fair point. But yeah, so any guesses before I say who should have been a part of this app?
Uh, I still haven't unlocked them all, and I know you're further along than I am, so I don't really know who still I'm going to encounter.
Oh yeah, even I'm still unsure about who I'm going to encounter, but I already looked at the list on Cerebi
Okay,
about who's.
I know personally I would like it if Claire was there, because Claire's one of my favorite gym leaders.
So is Claire your favorite that you're hoping to see out of everyone
Yes.
else? Did
Yes.
he already give you a spoiler? I already know the answer to that one.
Mm, I don't think I want it spoiled for me.
Okay, you'll find out one way or another, but
Yes, I do.
one person they absolutely left out that I'm upset about because I had one of those irrational teenage crushes on this animated character,
Uh-huh.
um, Volkner.
Oh yeah, yeah, of Faulkner. Yeah, Faulkner. That would be the first Johto gym leader
Oh,
with a flying type, right?
that's Volkner. Their names are too similar.
That's why I got confused.
Faulkner is the first gym leader in the Johto region as a flying gym leader, but Volkner is the last gym leader in the Sinnoh region as the electric gym leader.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, my mind is mostly Johto on the brain.
And their names are too
Johto's my
similar
favorite
as it
region.
is.
Johto's just my favorite region, so it's forever embedded in my brain.
But yeah, missed opportunity. They could have put my teenage crush in there, but they chose not to.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
any other
maybe.
positives?
Well, I think that they, because it's an app, they can always update it.
Yeah,
So surely they could probably add characters.
they
So,
bleeding better.
so if they're listening right now, we can pitch these suggestions. So that's a plus. Is that it's an app? It's always available for updates. Um, and unlike the console video games, I don't think we'll have to worry as much about DLC. Please don't listen to that idea and actually follow through on that. That would be so disappointing and devastating. Because I don't like paying for my games when they're supposed to be free to play. That is so unfair. And let's see, what else is there? So more positives. I really like the event thing. If you're stuck on the storyline, it gives you something new to do. So that's also a plus side I would think is that you don't always have to do things on the storyline, and it's also a break away from doing all that excessive training that we discussed.
Oh yeah, and that kind of reminds me of another negative personally. So with the training, there are two different types of training, so to speak. There's the regular training that never goes away, and then there's like the super course training in which it
Yeah, it's got
alternates,
time limits. Yeah.
and you can battle different people, get different bonuses, and you can only battle them X amount of times, I believe,
Yeah, I
three
think it's
times.
like 30 hours each time they get renewed because I'll see it and it'll be like 29 hours and da 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 da. And at first I'm thinking, is that days or is that because I'm so confused? And then it's like, no, that's hours, that's hours. Because I'll sit there and they'll be there for like 2 days in a row, and then it's like, oh, now it's changed. Ooh, what's it this time? It's Nanu, it's Tate, it's so on and so forth. So
But yeah, I think the concept of super courses is a positive. However, I'm going to make a very millennial complaint, and I can say that because I am a millennial.
so
Um,
fine. I'll tell you how millennial this complaint is.
so the very hard levels of the super courses are too hard. Like I am used to win one very hard in the
Oh my
course,
gosh.
and I am packing level. They must be packing like level
What's your
90,
strongest?
100 crap.
What's your strongest level?
Well, thanks to the rock type event, like I'm up in the 70s.
Yikes! And you still can't beat them?
No, I thought I could with the level 70s rock team, and
Okay, yeah, then you have a valid complaint here. There's something majorly wrong with that. I'm only in the 40s and I find them struggles.
well, I can beat the very hard ones and the regular ones, but the super course ones, like, I'm gonna have to pass
Uh,
like
yeah,
90s.
super course, huh? Okay, well, that tells me a lot. Yeah, because I can usually predict right away, like, oh, this guy's gonna kick my butt. I already know it. Or this one's like, oh yeah, this should be easy peasy lemon squeezy because So I can usually tell those types of things right away. And sometimes it'll just completely catch me off guard. It's like, oh, I was so close, or oh, I didn't stand a chance. I should have seen that coming. So yeah, it just depends because some of them are really good at like KOing or one-shotting my team, and that's so not cool.
Yeah, especially with their sync moves. Like, oh, that reminds me
Yeah,
of
like
one
that is
complaint.
so annoying. Like, how come my sync move only attacks your one Pokemon, but your sync move attacks all three of mine? That makes no sense.
In addition to that, your stats get lowered when they hit you and you don't lower theirs. Like, are
Oh,
you
that's
kidding?
right.
Well, I mean, I guess there's always a chance of both you and I being ignorant about how sync moves work, and maybe we can do that to them too, and we just don't know it. But if not, then our complaints are so valid. Like, that's unfair.
Yeah, for real. Oh, and then there's another thing. There's another thing. Uh, I know traditionally when you use the move close combat, obviously your stats get lowered, but that's still a thing with Karina's Lucario as well. You use close combat and the stats get lowered, and they show it. It's like, well, geez, sometimes I don't think I should be using this move, but Vacuum Wave is just so weak, and I can't use anything different until I use the Sync move because then Vacuum Wave changes to a 2 gauge move instead. But you still got to wait on it. Meanwhile, uh, close combat's a 3 gauge move. And just I can't win for losing.
Oh yeah, but Lucario is one of my favorite Pokemon to lose. God, frickin' use. It
Yeah,
has
yeah.
so many
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Lucario is pretty awesome. I'm not even gonna lie.
like
But that's another thing though. Lucario's like the only one. Well, maybe not. I think Beedrill might have this capability as well with Bugsy. But like as far as I know, Lucario is probably one of the only Pokemon, aside from maybe Bugsy, that has its one move change after it Mega evolves using
Bugsy
its
does
sync
not.
because Yeah, because when you use its sync move, it mega evolves, and then vacuum wave changes into, I think it's is it mega punch or something? It's something
Power
punch.
up punch.
That's it. That's it. So yeah, so yeah, and I'm wondering how many other Pokemon can do that, because I know he can do that, and I think Bugsy can too.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be gender biased. I don't know what gender Karina's Lucario is. I'm just assuming it's a he. Because
Well,
I'm sorry, I keep thinking of Mystery Lucario and the Mystery Mew. I just instantly think Lucario, male voice, male. But I know Lucario can be either or.
well, statistically speaking, I think Lucario is more likely to pop out male than female, so I think
Yeah,
that's a
you're
safe
right.
assumption. But I've noticed Pokemon likes to match the Pokemon's gender with the trainer it has. But yeah,
Yeah, and with this particular game, that does seem to be the trend. So
yeah, but crap. What were we talking about? I already lost my train of thought.
we were talking about the moves changing when you use the sync move.
Oh yeah, and also Mega Evolution. So I was under the impression any Pokemon that could Mega Evolve would Mega Evolve with this Sync move. Yes, that happens with Lucario. Yes, that happens with Beedrill. Yes, it happens with Pinsir, based on my experience. But
Mm-hmm.
it does not happen with Tyranitar.
Oh my gosh, what a disappointment!
Yeah, missed opportunity there.
Oh, and it also happens with Houndoom.
Oh, I haven't gotten that one on my team yet, but yeah, I
I
heard
think
that.
Houndoom's in the training actually. Houndoom is in the training. I think it's the green bottle. If you try to get the green bottle through training, it's like the second trainer. She's got like this purple hair.
Oh yeah, Karen.
Yeah, I
I
think
just
that's
try
it.
my goal is to try to stop the sync moves as much as possible.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah. Take them down before they can use the sync move. If you're having trouble getting their HP down, that's okay. You might want to wipe out the other two first. That way, you only have one Pokemon that you really have to worry about. But if their sync move is like KOing your whole team, you may want to consider leveling up those Pokemon, because they have to take that hit for you to get any further.
oh yeah, and then Pokemon that use sync moves and Mega Evolve, they gain more
And there's terms
stats.
and conditions. Find them. Use them.
But yeah, if you're having troubles lowering their HP, lower their speed. That slows down the speed of their gauge.
Actually, Lieutenant Surge has X speed as one of his little move sets.
Oh yeah, anything that increases your speed, like that is so useful, more useful than I thought. Like that speeds up the gauge.
Oh
But
yeah.
but
So
yeah,
yeah.
are we
There's a lot of aspects to this game, and some of y'all will have to figure it out on your own. I already feel like a Nimrod because I did use a YouTube tutorial. I was struggling and I was trying to figure out, well, what do I need to do? What are they doing differently than me? And then I realized that, oh, well, their Karina is at level 37. Maybe I should get mine to level 37. And then it's like, well, wait a second. Their Karina also knows this move. How do I unlock this move? Oh, I figured that out. And then it's like, well, wait a second. That's not a Piplup. That's a Prinplup. I can evolve my Pokemon. How do I do that? And then it's like, well, their Piplup is also at like level 32. So, you know, I just started putting piece together after piece, and that's when it hit me. Oh, this is how you do that. So even though you might feel like a Nimrod for having to resort to a YouTube tutorial, it can also benefit you heavily, especially if there's a lot of concepts you've yet to learn.
for me, I admittedly looked up a YouTube video because even
Hmm.
mainly because with the sync stories, I wasn't sure what they were at first. Like I was afraid to do them, like especially the evolution ones. I was like, oh, do I have to win this battle to make sure Snivy evolves? I know I have to use up this item. If I use up this item and lose, will this still happen?
Yeah, that reminds me. I'm actually still curious on Pokemon Go if there's a certain way I can guarantee a Gorbis evolution with my Clamperl. because I just got enough candies to evolve my Clamperl again, and I really want a Gorbis because I already have a shiny Huntail. But again, there's times where online cheats like that are necessary, and some people call them cheating. Other people don't care. It's like you really got to take that one with a grain of salt, because I've literally had somebody try to shame me once for using somebody else's again. It's like, no, that's going to happen regardless. I don't care who you are. If you're watching somebody else play or watching them online, you are still learning somehow, some way. That's kind of like whenever we had a babysitter teach us how to play Yoshi's Story on the Nintendo 64.
Oh
That
yeah,
was literally how we learned. We
like I,
sat there, we watched her do all the hard parts, and it's like, how do you do that? How do you learn? You learn.
but yeah, I think shamers are not good for the community. But I
Totally.
guess rant about them aside, do we have any more positives about Pokemon Masters before we move on to the news?
It's a good time waster.
Well, I guess there's that too. That
Yeah,
is,
if you have kids and they're always bored, just get them hooked on this game. They'll never have anything better to do with their lives ever again.
certainly not school. But
I kid, I kid.
but yeah, I guess that's just. Oh yeah, I guess to finish out the Pokemon Master section, if you were to give Pokemon Masters a grade from A plus to E or F minus, depending on which scale you like more, where
Uh-huh.
would you give Pokemon Masters?
I think a B minus. I feel like they have room for improvement. It's still a very enjoyable game, so I'm giving it a passing grade because of that. But I just feel like they've got a lot that they need to make up for.
Yeah, for me, I was actually debating between a B and a B minus myself. Like, it's definitely a great game. I recommend it personally. Um, but yeah, it does have its. You know what? The more I think about it, the more I just want to say just a solid B. Like, I think it's great. I think they need a little bit more to add to what you can do, more than just training to increase yourself.
Okay,
And
instead of saying B minus, let me just say 84, because honestly, we had two different types of grading scales using numerics, so I think it's more specific to just go ahead and give a number.
oh, I guess yeah, that would be more specific, like from 100 to 0.
Yeah, because 84 could also be a C plus on my first grading scale, but then they changed it so that it was just like a solid B.
Oh, so you're giving it an 84? Okay.
Eh,
Um, not if I have to think about it from that spectrum, I'll probably have to give it an solid 88. Like, it can still improve if they added
That was not
Vulture.
great in biology.
If they added
That's just,
Vulture to it, then I think I would have given it like a 94 or something.
yeah. Well, honestly, like no, seriously, like every single term I had biology, that was my overall term grade was 88. So it's funny you picked that number.
I was just thinking about your grades that I had no idea about. But
Yeah.
but
Anyway,
yeah, I guess we can start talking about the news. Let's talk
all
about the
right.
video they released. So talking about the most important aspects of that video are the two new Pokemon, which their names have already slipped my memory. How about you, Ty?
Poltergeist and Cora something or other. I don't know how to say it, but I do know he hits people with his fish, and I think it's funny. He's got
So
an ability where he flings his fish at his opponents and inflicts even more damage. It's so amusing.
after using Surf and or Dive,
Oh, there was a catch to that? Okay.
there's a catch to his catch.
Let's see what you did there.
But yeah, that's definitely a unique ability. Very limited though for using Surf Dive, relying
Yeah.
on the opponent to hit you. I mean, it's a cute little gimmick, I guess. I think that Pokemon was just invented for gimmick because its
Yeah,
face just
maybe
looks like a jerk.
slapstick humor. Slapstick humor. But
But
yeah. So, what did you think about Poltergeist?
well, before we move on to Poltegeist, do we really need another water flying type? Like, other than a little bit of humor, like, what can this Pokemon actually bring to the table?
But, now that you mention it's typing, I do think it is really redundant. I'm
Yeah,
not really sure its reason for bringing it in, but you have to understand though that the Galar region is based on the United Kingdom, aka shoot, what else would you call that? Great Britain, London,
um, yeah,
Wales, yeah,
all the above.
United Kingdom. The, yeah, British land over there with their fancy snooty accents and I can't. I am the worst. Okay, I am the worst. But anyway, joking aside, I'm sure there's some sort of regional variant of being able to piece that bird together with the uh with the region. So I'm sure they have a reason for doing it. I just am unbeknownst to what that may be right now.
Yeah, I just hope it brings something new to the table when it comes to stats compared to the water flying Pokemon. Like you have Mantine, who is a special defense machine. You have
Yeah.
her with the great defense and Drizzle. Gyarados that can Mega Evolve with Intimidate before that.
That people always thought was a dragon, but it's really not.
Swanna is not honestly anything special, but
And then there's Wingull and Pelipper.
uh, Swanna's speed is pretty good. It's mixed attacker. Um, so you already have a physical attacker, special attacker, mixed attacker, defensive, special defensive. So what new could this Pokemon bring to that dimension? Is just one of the things I'm wondering about personally.
So far, just its ability is my guess.
And I'm curious to know if the fish in its mouth is actually a new Pokemon or just kind of like a prop looking fish.
Or maybe it has something to do with evolution. Because think about it, think about it, think about it. You need a shelter on a slowpoke to evolve it. So maybe this is something like that.
Oh, yeah, that was applied in the anime, not in the game. But to your point, you needed Remoraid on your team to evolve
Oh, yeah.
into Mantine, and you
Oh,
needed a type Pokemon to evolve, and a small panda into a large panda.
and then there's the fact you had to turn your console upside down to evolve a squid into a bigger squid. And then there was also the fact that you had to have an empty slot on your team to get a
Dead body.
shed ninja along with your ninja ask. I mean, there's a lot of evolutionary catches, and I just don't see why this one would be any different than those. Maybe it has something to do as an evolutionary tool. Maybe it loses its fish after you use its fish to evolve another Pokemon. Who
Hmm,
knows?
interesting concepts. But yeah, Poltergeist or
Oh yeah,
whatever.
Poltergeist. Yeah, Poltergeist. Okay,
I
so
oh sorry.
I was gonna say I got a little bit of history of a history lesson on Poltergeist. Supposedly, the rumor has it that there was a 4chan user that back in 2014 suggested a couple of Pokemon, one by the name of Entity and the other one by the name of Poltergeist. And here we are. What is it? 5 years later. 5 years later, they supposedly hired this guy onto Game Freak's thing or what have you, and he's been trying to push his Pokemon across for years. Apparently, he or she. I shouldn't be biased. Yeah. So, and this was the first year that they finally decided to listen to that suggestion, supposedly, with the revealing of the Pokemon Poltegeist. So, I'm starting to think that we may see a pre evolution of this Pokemon called Entity. and it's going to be a teacup Pokemon, as it's stated in the 4chan segment that has been screenshotted for all eternity.
But that history aside, what do you have a positive opinion of this Pokemon?
It is absolutely adorable. I love it. It reminds me of Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, that actually is going to be my first sentence. If you catch this Pokemon and don't name it Chip, what is wrong with you?
No, 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 no. You wouldn't name it Chip. You would name it Mrs. Potts. But if you get Entity, you might want to name that one Chip.
I just thought Chip just because it had a chip or two to it. But either way, Beauty and the Beast nicknames, no exceptions. But but I think it's cute.
It's adorable. It reminds me of the Luigi's Mansion thing that they're coming up with.
Also a little random, but it's funny. My boyfriend, he was playing White for the first time, and he always wanted to put Litwick on his team because it reminded him, its line reminded him of Lumiere, so he caught one to nickname it Lumiere on his team. So if Litwick, which I believe it will be in this region, you can have Lumiere and
Nice.
yep, Mrs. Potts on your team.
That's funny. But you might want to leave it as a, well, no, not Lampent, but Chandelure would be a little out there as well. So, yeah, probably leave it as a Litwick. However, it would be nice, though, if that evolutionary line in itself got a Galar region exclusive.
But aren't regional exclusives supposed to make Pokemon better? I mean, I like that line. Ghost and Fire is such a great combination. How do you improve
Yeah,
that?
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Oh, well, maybe it is what I'm saying. But yeah, you give them a Galar region form for Litwick and Lampent and Chandelure. That would be really, really epic. And you're absolutely right. How would you change that? I don't know. But I'm sure British land there has something fancy that we haven't seen. Maybe Pokemon could show us the light, figuratively speaking.
But yeah, you gave your history theory about its evolutionary line. Mine's actually the opposite. So, just based on looking at it, and of course, these are all just speculations. I think it looks like it's already in its first form. Its um, design looks very straightforward, basic. It's ghost type. It has only weak armor as an ability. I think it looks like it has so much potential. When I look at it, I can see it either evolving into, like, I guess you can say like a Keurig or something else, like something larger to hold the tea, or just become a genie in a lamp like Pokemon and not just a ghost in a teacup or whatever.
Uh, Actually, that would be quite a setback here because I have never really heard of a British person putting their tea in a coffee pot like an American would. As a matter of fact, I follow a British YouTuber. His name is Artemis, and he is a huge fan of Dur. Shoot, what's the name of his tea? It starts with the DUR. Anyway, though he's got this preference for his tea, his fancy smancy tea, and uh never. Well, yeah, usually I see like a kettle in the like cutaway scenes, so I'm pretty sure he boils his tea. So, but I'm pretty sure that's how they do it in British land. So I can't really see, I can't really see Poltergeist evolving into a coffee pot. That
Or a
seems
genie
very,
in a lamp.
yeah. So, but I don't know. Stranger things have happened. Hmm. But we'll both to keep an eye on that one. Maybe it'll be maybe this might be jumping the gun a little bit, but maybe they could do like in a Unova remake. They could like maybe give him a Unova evolution.
Oh gosh, I knew you were going to go somewhere with that. Do it the American way.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, go from British land back to American land just because we can, because remakes, that they do remakes. I'm still awaiting the Sinnoh one for that matter. I think we might see a Sinnoh remake here sometime soon.
Oh yeah, I expect it after these games, but I guess
Mhm.
that's a whole nother topic. All in
Oh
all,
yeah.
either way, this Pokemon looks like it has a lot of potential. I don't want to get overly excited because when I get overly excited about something, then I get let down. So I'm toning my excitement down, but it looks like it has a lot of potential. So yeah, other news about it, like the Pokemon camp, making foods and eating it, and the many flavors of how do you alcreme or how do you say its name? Alcremie.
Oh gosh, you got me there.
But
I was gonna let the anime cover that subject on pronunciations because I am so worried I'm going to butcher the living crap out of that name.
so yeah, do you have any thoughts on all that remaining news? Like I am so neutral about it and like, oh my gosh, I don't care.
I'm just like, I want Sword and Shield to be out already. I am so sick of waiting. I've already got the Switch Lite on pre-order. I've already got Sword on pre-order. My brother's gonna get Shield. We're gonna get the dual packs, and hopefully we'll get our 200 Pokeballs along with it. So yeah, that's where I'm at in my stance in life. Is I just want to be done with the year.
Oh yeah, so I guess that takes care of that portion of the news. Unless you have any other comments before we move on the glitch.
Actually, that was exactly what I was going to imply there, but you've already done it for me. So, no, I am ready for the glitch. Let's get glitchy with it.
If I were a tech whiz, this is where I'll start glitching up this podcast. But
Oh,
recently, the Pokemon Company put a glitchy design out on the Pokemon website, on Sword and Shield specifically, and if you try to click on it, like for me, it moved around like 2 or 3 times, and then eventually it'll let you click it. I clicked on it, and it, you can see the image, but it's really blurred out purposefully. Its name is completely marked out. Its weight, you can see it. It doesn't show its height. You can see that it's fighting type and its ability is steadfast. And its description is mostly seen, but a few keywords are blanked out because they probably have a lot of spoilers in those words. Um, so I have my theory of what's going on with that Pokemon, but Ty, would you like to share anything first?
okay. So, honestly, when you had mentioned the glitch to me just prior to doing the podcast, this was the first that I was hearing of it. Because I've basically been living under a rock since I found something better to do with my life. No offense. Um, and honestly, yard work isn't that much of an improvement. But regardless, so whenever I first came across this glitch, I wasn't really sure what to think of it, but I was getting suggestions told to me as well as making my own conclusions. Uh, I saw the green bar is nothing more than an HP bar. I can't really picture it as much of anything else. I thought that the white aspects of the image resembled that of a Cubone skull. Um, and then whenever I saw this green looking, lime green thunderbolt looking shape in what appears to be the hands of the Pokemon, I was thinking that it might also be like Farfetch'd Sleek, because Farfetch has this little grass thingy in his hand or wing. And I was thinking it could resemble that because the other speculation we got that this could be Farfetch's evolution. And then the other image I got was because of the incredibly blurred head. I thought that that could be bunny ears on that head, and I was thinking, well, maybe this could be Scorbunny's evolution, but it wouldn't have a single typing, obviously, because it has to be part fire, unless I'm not 100% sure, but it's just way too uh, it's way too soon to really tell what it is because a blurred image could be a lot of things, and it really just has to come to light. So, but those were my speculations. Crystal,
But
what was
yeah,
your?
when I first saw it, of course, I had my speculations, and then I tilted my head to the side, and now of
More
course, I
specifically, the left side.
yeah, specifically, I tilted my head to the left, and I feel like I am pretty confident in what I could see after I tilted my head to the left, but of course, speculations could be wrong. I probably need to go back to the eye doctor again, but
I hadn't been in 4 years. You'll be fine. Pat you on the back.
so when I tilted my head to the left, I saw the very long line as in its hand or whatever as similar to a leak, like farfetch'd's leak that it always carried around because it had the green on top and the white on the bottom or middle to bottom. And then in its other hand, this green two-toned green square, not square, circle or whatever. It felt like that was also a shield, like the leak evolved into a sword and then it gained a shield. Of course, that I see that as very intentional, given the name of the games. Um, and then when I just look at its bodily outline at that point, I just can't help but to see small little duck feet, a small little far-fetched like body, a little bill or beak. Bill, I guess that's the correct term for it. And then its little small eyes and its little sticking up hair. Like, I think that's another reason why the height was blurred out. That its height could be the same or similar to Farfetch'd's height. And also, I want to bring up the website again. I'm bringing it up on my end.
Because what's really throwing me through a loop is the fighting type. I just can't begin to fathom.
Well, there are some leaks going around way before this that said a Farfetch'd's evolution will be fighting type, either purely or half fighting type, and that's just another confirmation for my speculation.
Yeah, because I
And
didn't hear that about the rumor.
And think about it, they've only blurred out things that could be obvious spoilers, so there's a reason why that height was blurred out, but it and and just for the fact its full name is also blurred out, I was told that it could be most likely Surfetched. If that's the case, I can see why its name is blurred out. And here's the interesting
Maybe that hair is a top hat.
And here are two interesting sentences on the website. Only blank that have survived many battles can attain this blank. When this Pokemon's blankers, it will retire from combat. So you just can't help but to think, what the blank are those blanks?
I see what you did there.
And I feel like this
Blank be blank,
far-fetched
blank, 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 blank.
I feel like this fetched evolution thing just can't, it can fit well, because if I read it like this, and of course you can alter the words yourself, only far-fetched that have survived many battles can obtain this evolution when this Pokemon's equipment something. Oh yeah, when this Pokemon's equipment shatters, it will retire from combat. and it looks like it's holding a sword and a shield, and its wings are hands. So
Mm.
I just, I'm just overly, um,
Exactly.
I have too much faith in
Um,
this being far-fetched as evolution.
yeah, I can understand that though, but I'm starting to think about it though, and now that you mention it, I'm thinking that uh, well, Farfetch, like what is it originally? It could be seen as a carrier pigeon, maybe. Maybe there's a history of like carrier pigeons or some type of bird that was used in the United Kingdom for whatever reason, and maybe maybe that's kind of the derivative of this specific rumored evolution of Farfetch'd. So I'm trying to figure out just exactly how it's well, why this is becoming a prediction in the first place. And the only logic I can really gather from that is that since uh, most of the migrants that found their way to the U.S. did derive from the U.K., and if we use carrier pigeons in the U.S., they had to have used them overseas as well, over in the European nations. So perhaps this is kind of like a historic aspect of things reflecting on this potential evolution for Farfetch'd.
You put way more thought into it than I would have. Like, I just find a lot of the regional variants a
People
little bit
keep
random.
Yeah, because people keep bringing region into the elements behind the Pokemon. Okay, it's never just Pokemon itself. There's always a regional aspect that affects their ideological thinking of what goes into the forms of these Pokemon. So there's got to be some intellectual level that we're not thinking of, because you gotta understand the Japanese are very intelligent people as far as I've known. They're they're always advanced in their moderation with their technology, what have you. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they do have an advanced level of education in that particular country, because even their elementary schools are ranked the highest across the globe. So so I wouldn't put it past them to be more intuitive to these types of elements than an American.
Oh yeah, but do we have any final thoughts or anything else on this glitch other than missing numbers, missing brother?
Well, I would love to agree with you that it's far-fetched evolution, but personally and truly, I just do not have as a vivid imagination as you do to really see it. I'm hoping that what you say is true, and the fact that it has been rumored a lot, and the fact that they kind of missing numbered it does kind of make me think that this may be a confirmation to the rumors. There's been a lot more rumors lately of Pokemon that have been coming true, so I don't want to entirely rule anything out.
Okay, so I guess if that's all that we have to say about Pokemon Masters, their little video clip in the glitch, I
Mhm.
guess thank you all so much for listening into the Pedal Dance podcast. Oh yeah, and Chris could not be here, but he said he liked the Pokemon that were revealed so far. But yeah, this is
Yeah, and he told
Crystal.
me he loved the idea of entity as well. But yeah, yeah, and this is Ty. I didn't mean to cut you off on your introduction again.
Oh yeah, you're fine. So we're just closing and like, comment, share, subscribe, jump
Or if we
into
somehow managed to offend you.
jump into comments of conspiracy theories and then cry when you're wrong, like how I probably will. And then cry when your favorite characters don't make the Pokemon Masters cuts, even though the majority of them did. Um, oh wow, that's a negative way of ending this. I'm sorry. Um,
Shame on you. I thought we
yeah,
were Pokemon of the week. Though.
yeah, Chansey is cute. And this is the Pedal Dance Podcast. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Night.